dulu teman-teman semua. Halo teman-teman semua, mungkin boleh type di kolom chat nih teman-teman nih. Dari mana asalnya, terus abis gitu sekolahnya dari mana atau institusinya dari mana, dan mungkin asal daerahnya dari mana gitu. Jadi mungkin kita bisa saling kenalan juga nih di webinar ini ya. Eh, halo, halo semuanya. Oke. Sambil menunggu teman-teman yang lain, aku izin untuk memulai acaranya ya, teman-teman semua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam semuanya. Sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih banyak udah mau meluangkan waktunya di malam hari ya teman-teman semua. Yang mungkin teman-teman bisa istirahat, tapi ternyata teman-teman sangat antusias untuk mendengarkan webinar dan juga mungkin pemaparan dari speaker kita yang keren banget pada hari ini. Saya juga lumayan deg-degan gitu ya untuk menjadi seorang MC-nya. Perkenalkan, saya Aina dari Infra Digital Foundation. Saya yang akan memandu kegiatan webinar pada hari ini. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat datang di webinar Ready for Security, Women in Cybersecurity Vol.2, Opportunities and Challenges. Nah, boleh ya? Tadi aku bacain sedikit nih komen-komen teman-teman. Wow. So welcome for all participants who come from all over Indonesia. My name is Aina, and I read your chat right now. Oh, there are Azri from Cimahi and Friska from Lampung. Wow, it's from Aziza. Where are you come from, Aziza? Kendari. Is it Kendari? Oh, wow, ada Putri from Universitas Budi Luhur. Wow, okay. Jayeng from Trenggalek. So we have a very various participant from SMK or vocational students, polytechnic, and also universities. Wow, we are very proud of you. We are very excited to be here with you because we will hear a webinar from a very great speaker. Maybe I will read a little bit about this webinar and also about the speakers, okay? Oke, before kita ke penjelasan nih tentang webinarnya, mungkin aku juga mau kasih tahu beberapa rules dulu ya teman-teman semua. Tadi teman-teman yang belum menggunakan format nama underscore sekolah, silahkan diganti Microsoft Teams-nya dengan format nama underscore sekolah. Contohnya tadi ya, Aziza dari SMKN 4 Kendari. Nah, itu boleh ya teman-teman diganti dulu nih, biar kita tahu nih dari institusi mana aja sih teman-teman semua. Gitu. Nah, harapannya teman-teman bisa dapat kondusif, mematikan mic selama acaranya berlangsung. Dan juga nih teman-teman, yang sangat menarik adalah kita punya giveaway untuk teman-teman yang memposting di Instagram Story dan nge-tag infradigital.foundation di Instagram story kamu tentang keseruan webinar pada hari ini. Nah, satu lagi kita juga punya giveaway e-wallet untuk peserta dengan penanya terpilih yang nanti berani untuk open mic nanya langsung nih ke speaker kita. Siap-siap nih untuk menyimak ya teman-teman semua. So before we move to the presentation, I would like to give you a little bit about the webinar. Oke, mungkin juga sedikit disclaimer ya teman-teman, karena Neha ini pembicara kita datang dari Singapura. Nah, aku akan sedikit memix ya teman-teman semua antara bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Indonesia agar kita semua bisa mengerti satu sama lain. Ya, jadi untuk webinar kali ini merupakan salah satu rangkaian kegiatan dari pre-training Ready for Security Indonesia. Pada topik kali ini, Women in Cybersecurity, kita mengundang pembicara yang sangat spesial teman-teman semua, yaitu Mrs. Neha Gupta, yang saat ini menjabat sebagai Area Business Group Leader Microsoft Security Solution Asia Pacific. So this webinar is one of the series of activities Ready for Security Indonesia pre-training program. We would like to hear stories and presentation about opportunities and challenges for women who works in cybersecurity field. And we had a very great opportunity to hear a story from Neha Gupta, who currently as area business group leader, cybersecurity, data governance, risk and compliance, Asia Pacific, Microsoft Corporation. So, good evening, Ms. Neha Gupta. Wah, seneng banget nih udah ada di layar ya teman-teman semua ya. Bisa lihat nih, Masya Allah. Wah, oke. Nah, sebelum kita mungkin mendengarkan presentasi dalam ke presentasinya Neha nih, aku sedikit cerita dulu ya. Ibu Neha ini tadi ya udah dijelasin bahwa beliau ini di cybersecurity, data governance, dan compliance business. Nah, beliau ini teman-teman udah kerja di Microsoft selama hampir 20 tahun. Wow. Nah, karena ini beliau senang banget untuk membantu customer dan juga mitra untuk memanfaatkan teknologi untuk mendorong hasil bisnis yang membantu kesuksesan dan pertumbuhan bisnis mereka. Beliau juga merupakan seorang advokat vokal untuk cybersecurity dari berbagai usia, latar belakang, dan gender, dan juga memberikan inisiatif untuk meningkatkan keterampilan bagi perempuan yang underserved di community. Okay, maybe without further ado, I would like to give the stage to Ms. Neha Gupta, and we will hear her great stories about working in cybersecurity. So please welcome Neha. The time is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you
Awesome.
clearly.
Awesome. I promise I will learn Bahasa. Good evening, everyone. I truly appreciate this opportunity to speak to all of you today. My name is Neha. I'm based out of Singapore. And I hope the sharing today is helpful to all that are attending, all 65 of you who are attending this session. Bina, I will just quickly share the presentation.
Yeah, sure.
Let me know if it is visible.
Okay.
Is the slide visible to Ken?
Yes.
Can see, yeah? Okay, perfect. So again, thank you so much. I hope the session today is useful. I would really appreciate if you can ask questions. I will keep looking at the chat. If there are questions, please feel free to put them and I will try and answer the questions. I have deliberately kept the slides to be few because I do want to talk to all of us here so that any doubts you have, any questions you have, this is your time. Please ask them. I have freed my calendar for the evening so we can stay as long as you want. Okay, so let me quickly start by sharing a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Neha. I come from India, and I was born and brought up in the north of India. That's where I come from. And I have been working with Microsoft. I've been blessed to work with Microsoft for the last 2 decades. And I've worked in various departments in Microsoft, in India, in Asia Pacific, in various types of roles. In engineering, in sales and marketing, in strategy, and now in leadership roles. I am not an engineer. I'm not a BE. I do not have a computer science degree. But I do have a few degrees that I've done because I like to study, like I'm sure all of you do. I am a bachelor's in anthropology, which is the study of human evolution. And I do have master degrees in mass communication, journalism, cyber law, people leadership, and I've done a couple of technical trainings that come with being in a technical company, a technology company, like Microsoft certifications and cybersecurity certifications. What drives me in terms of my passion? I like simplifying things for everyone. So give me a complex topic, I will think about it, I will read about it, and I'll try and make it simple for the people I work with. And I love growing talent, and I love empowering women specifically because I do believe everybody deserves a chance. I will pause here, Buaina, in case you want to summarize that.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih. Seperti yang tadi udah aku jelaskan, Ibu Neha Gupta ini sudah bekerja di Microsoft selama hampir 20 tahun. Dan beliau ini bekerja sebelumnya di Microsoft India, kemudian juga saat ini bekerja di Microsoft Asia Pasifik. Beliau ini bukan seorang insinyur, bukan seorang IT latar belakangnya, tapi beliau ini memiliki latar belakang antropologi, komunikasi, dan juga hukum cyber, yang beliau ini memiliki passion untuk memberdayakan perempuan dan juga membuat sesuatu menjadi lebih sederhana. Jadi beliau ini senang banget kalau misalkan bisa menyampaikan sesuatu yang rumit menjadi sesuatu yang lebih sederhana. Okay, you can continue.
Sure, thank you. And at a personal level, my husband and we have a son, and I'm a mom as well. So yes, I try and balance work, studying, and being a parent while being completely in love with cybersecurity.
Jadi beliau ini ternyata teman-teman semua bukan hanya seorang profesional yang bergerak di bidang cyber security, tapi juga ternyata beliau ini seorang ibu yang memiliki satu orang anak. Jadi beliau ini mencoba untuk menyeimbangkan segala hal nih dari mulai dunia profesional dan juga kehidupannya sebagai seorang ibu. Okay.
Thank you. So since we talk about cybersecurity, I did want all of us to take a moment and think why cybersecurity is important, right? Why is it important for all of us, whether we have a career in cybersecurity or not? Why should we all care about cybersecurity? And the reason for that is simple. In today's world, whether it was when there was COVID, or then, all of us use so much our phones, everything happens on the internet. And because there is so much use of cloud technology, of the internet technology, I'm sure all of you are on Instagram, on Twitter. You even for your homework, in the university comes on the internet. You're doing this call on Teams. Everything is on the internet today, and that is one of the main reasons that we also see, so much of cyber crime. So crime that used to be physical, when somebody, if you're walking down the road at night, somebody will snatch your chain. That was stealing that happened on the road. Now that has moved to online, right? Because stealing online is easier, and there is no risk that the police will catch you, because you may be sitting in a country like United Kingdom, and you would be stealing from Australia. So now the Australian police cannot catch you if you're in England, which is why cloud makes it easier to steal from others. The other bit is this entire conversation and the rise of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency means, all the Bitcoin and the whole conversation that's happening on FTX, digital currency. Now, digital currency cannot be traced. So earlier, somebody would kidnap someone's child and say, give me money and I will give your child back. Now, people steal somebody's data and say, you give me money, otherwise I will not return your data. And giving that money, because it's cryptocurrency, cannot be traced, which means I can steal from someone and not go to jail. Again, there is no, you could have stealers sitting in one country, and the crime happening in another country, specifically in our region. And my team has seen this happening in Indonesia as well, where stealing is happening in Indonesia, but the person doing the crime is sitting in a different country. So now, they may be having different kind of relationships. For example, from a geopolitics perspective, our neighbor in the East doesn't share good relationships with the superpower in the West. So when China and US don't have good relationships, they try and do espionage as well. Right? So, which essentially means the world itself is not in a good place. All the war that's happening, all the fight that's happening in Europe, a lot of that war actually is not just happening with actual guns. It's also happening on the internet. And which is where geopolitics, cryptocurrency, and cloud together make it a lot of a bad situation where cybercrime is just growing so much in our region. In fact, there were one of the metrics that we were looking at in our region, especially in Southeast Asia. Cybercrime has increased by 168% in the last 1 year. In the last 1 year, if there were 100 crimes happening last year, now it is 100 into 168, right? So there's a lot of increase in cybercrime that's happening in our region. I will pause here, Buaina.
Oke, teman-teman semua, jadi kita pengen punya pandangan yang sama ya tentang pentingnya, kenapa sih kita penting banget untuk memahami cyber security. Karena tadi Bu Neha cerita bahwa kan sekarang mungkin udah jarang gitu ya kita mendengar kayak anaknya diculik terus dia minta uang. Tapi bisa jadi sekarang itu malah yang dicuri adalah data. Data teman-teman diambil oleh orang jahat dan bisa aja data kita orang Indonesia itu diambilnya sama orang dari luar negeri, mungkin dari Australia, mungkin dari Inggris gitu. Yang kita mungkin nggak tahu mereka ini ada di mana. Makanya kita perlu mengerti tentang kenapa sih penting banget cyber security ini. Apalagi saat ini juga telah berkembang ya teman-teman semua cryptocurrency, terus abis gitu juga bahkan tadi Bu Neha cerita bahwa di ASEAN itu sendiri angka cybercrime itu meningkat sampai 168%. Bayangin teman-teman. Jadi sebegitu pentingnya kita untuk tahu, untuk paham kenapa sih penting banget cyber security ini kita perlu pelajari. Okay.
Thank you. So, and some of the metrics that actually show that, and in fact, this is an example from Singapore, where last year, and the new numbers are similar, but last year also, scams and cyber crimes just in Singapore were actually 58% of all crimes committed. So that includes robbery, that includes, somebody, doing bad things to others. All of those crimes included, cybercrime actually was 58% of all crimes in Singapore. And that actually is true for most of the countries in the region. And that is absolutely true for Indonesia as well. In fact, now cybercrime, the Singaporean police actually has a report out that they actually call out how much money is being lost as well. And this is the reported money, which means somebody scams me and I go to the police and tell them that so much money is being asked. Sometimes people don't even report it. And 9 out of 10 times, people don't report it, which means this loss that we are looking at is much lesser than what is actually happening. So this is $500 million Singapore dollars that was lost in 2021 2022 numbers are similar, a little bit more than this, because the police have become very active as well. But $500 million is a lot of money, right? Which is getting lost in just 1 year. And some of the latest breaches, if you see, Starbucks in Singapore had a data breach less than 6 months ago. Singtel had a data breach. Singtel's company, which is in Australia, Optus, had a data breach. In fact, in Indonesia, there are quite a bit of data breaches that have happened. 1.3 billion Indonesian SIM card registration profiles, the citizen identification number, etc., were also lost recently, right? And then, of course, there was the fintech startup in Indonesia, Sermati, whose data was leaked of about 2.9 million people. There was insurance company BRI Life. Their banking details of 2 million users was released out. Then the Indonesian Ministry of Health, their data was leaked in the last some 6 million patients last couple of months. PLN, the telecom company, their data was exposed, some 17 million citizens as well. And then, of course, Chinese hackers breached servers of some 10 Indonesian government agencies as well. So there is a lot of data breach that's happening, not just in Singapore, not just in Asia, but in Indonesia as well. Now, why do I share this? Right? I share this because one, you should know, and two, because we need all of us to come together to stop this from happening. Right? And Buena, I will stop here so you can summarize.
Okay.
I just have to go back to the video.
Oke, tadi Bu Neha bercerita bahwa ya pasti kita tahu banget ya teman-teman sekarang ini udah banyak banget data leak gitu. Mungkin yang lagi hits itu kemarin BSI waktu yang mobile aplikasi yang nggak bisa diakses. Kemudian tadi pernah juga ada nasabah dari BTPN yang tiba-tiba uangnya hilang. Nah itu tuh salah satu contoh-contoh cybercrime yang terjadi yang saat ini tuh udah mulai banyak banget laporannya. Jangankan di Indonesia ya, yang mungkin kita juga sering dengar bahwa banyak hackers yang ngebobol website pemerintah, terus NIK kita bocor dan kawan-kawan. Bahkan even di Singapura pun ternyata 58% kejahatan di Singapura tuh saat ini dilaporkan itu karena cybercrime, teman-teman semua. Dan coba kalau dari 100%, 58% itu berarti mayoritas kan ya teman-teman. Jadi memang sudah ada perubahan kriminalitas yang tadinya mungkin langsung menjadi cybercrime gitu teman-teman semua. Dan masalahnya di Singapura juga ini yang dilaporkan kehilangan uangnya ini sampai 500 juta Singapura. Bayangin 500 juta rupiah aja udah banyak, apalagi 500 juta Singapura dikali 10.000. Bayangnya kita tuh bisa merugi sebegitunya. Jadi ini untuk teman-teman lebih menyadari bahwa ternyata kita ini berada di era yang sangat rentan teman-teman semua. Kita menghadapi attack yang serius seperti saat ini. Okay.
Thank you. And like I said, the reason I share this is just to make sure that all of us know that this is a very serious problem that we all need to come together and solve for, right? Now, there is hope in the world because companies like Microsoft are working to fight cybercrime. In fact, here are a few statistics on this slide where just in 1 year, we actually, as in Microsoft, actually removed more than 500 million unique phishing links, which were being used to phish people, to steal money from people by sending bad emails that people would click on, put their contact details, and their details will get stolen, and then bank account details get stolen as well, right? So these kind of phishing emails and phishing kits, about 531,000 were seized and nabbed by Microsoft. The thing which we need to know is there is a lot of threat in the world. It's not the big companies that get threatened. It is small companies as well. And in fact, after somebody clicks on a phishing email, it takes 1 hour for the attacker to access your private data. Right? So for example, you clicked on a bad email, a phishing email, and it will take just 1 hour for the attacker to get your private data, and then you will lose, assuming you click in a bad, website which has banking details, you put in your account details, within an hour, your money will be gone. Right? So that's the level of threat that we are looking at. Plus, of course, if you're working in an organization, even if you are not the person with all the, all the approvals and your ability to access everything, even then, if you're somebody who's just an intern in that organization, using your ID, the attacker can actually move inside the corporate network. Now think if there is a robber who gets inside your main gate, you do not keep your jewelry next to your main gate. But the robber can tiptoe and find ways to open other doors within your house and get to your safe where your jewelry is kept. And that bit, today, robbers and cyber criminals, they can do it in 1 hour as well, right? So that's the level of attention big organizations need to pay. Because imagine, let's take the example of the mobile company, which I said, which lost, the telecom company who lost millions and millions of user data. A telecom company, a mobile company, has your name, date of birth, your email address, your bank account or credit card details. Now, if 1 million people lose all of that data and the cyber criminal goes and steals, let's say, $1,000 from every bank account of 1 million people, that's a lot of money that the cyber criminal made in 1 hour. Which is why organizations need to be careful and need all of us to protect the organizations as well. I will pause here, Bu Ana.
Oke, nah teman-teman semua, di Microsoft sendiri ternyata selama 1 tahun ini ya, udah menghapus sekitar 531.000 phishing link. Phishing link itu berarti kayak link-link yang mencurigakan gitu ya teman-teman. Bayangin, jadi kerjaan mereka juga mencari nih kayaknya ini mencurigakan deh. Pas diklik takutnya malah kena ransomware atau sesuatu yang berbahaya ke cybercrime gitu kan. Nah, jadi Microsoft itu menjaga kita juga, menjaga data-data agar kita tidak mengarah kepada cybercrime gitu. Nah, teman-teman yang perlu diketahui juga, ternyata kalau teman-teman klik ada di email teman-teman ada phishing link atau link yang mencurigakan, itu tuh para cyber attacker itu hanya membutuhkan waktu 1 jam untuk mendapatkan semua data-data dari teman-teman itu. Mungkin mulai dari alamat rumah, nomor telepon, bahkan mungkin NIK, sampai bahkan yang mungkin perlu diwaspadai adalah bank account kita. Mungkin dia tahu nomor rekening, terus dia nanti bisa narik uang kita, kayak gitu teman-teman. Bayangin kalau misalkan dia punya 1.000 data bank nasabah dan setiap orangnya ditarikin hanya 100.000 aja. Coba bayangin, berarti dia dalam 1 jam udah bisa mendapatkan 1 juta. Sehari dia bisa dapatkan berapa gitu ya teman-teman. Jadi itu juga kenapa kita perlu untuk menjaga keamanan data kita, privasi data kita, karena kita nggak mau kita juga dirugikan secara finansial maupun secara lainnya gitu ya. Misalkan menipu dengan nama diri kita sendiri, seperti itu. Oke, can continue.
Thank you. Now, you would, as an individual, say, why should you care about it if you are not in cybersecurity today? Which is why I just wanted to share a couple of things why all of us should care about cybersecurity. There was this research done by RSA as a company, and they found that, in fact, 70% of online fraud actually happens through your mobile phones. And mobile phone is something we all use. So any mobile fraud that's happening, 7 out of 10 times that fraud actually starts from your mobile phone. Now, all of us play a lot of internet games, And turns out 3 out of 5 gamers have said that gaming is becoming less secure, right? Because there is malicious code, bad code that can steal your information, actually gets put in or inserted in games as well. So you have this fancy game that you download from the Play Store, and within that game, unless it is from a good certified vendor, there may be bad code that can actually steal your information from all the digital wallets you have on your phone. So gaming is another platform that is at risk. The third area of risk is IoT devices. Now, IoT is Internet of Things. And the first thing that comes to mind is, these big machines that run in manufacturing units. But no, even your iWatch or any kind of Fitbit that you wear is an IoT device. Your smart TV is an IoT device. There are smart fridges today. It's an IoT device. Somebody who uses a home assistant like Alexa or Google Home, it is an IoT device. And actually, your privacy and some of these IoT devices can actually be hacked into. And so a lot of people, and about 50% of people actually, distrust their IoT devices because that's where a lot of the hacking is coming from. In fact, I was actually, engaging with an ethical hacker once, and they showed me how on the dark web, it is so easy to hack a CCTV camera that is installed in somebody's house, where live you can see what is happening in that house. Now, think about your privacy. If you have a CCTV camera that's looking at your child, if you're working outside. So IoT devices are another area where there is a lot of risk. And then, of course, social media. A lot of hacking, smishing, social engineering happens through social media as well. This is actually an older number, and this is only US adults. But social media, again, is one area from where a lot of malicious activity happens. I'll pause here, Waina.
Oke, teman-teman semua ternyata kenapa sih kita juga perlu untuk tadi ya berwaspada, karena kita ini tidak bisa terlepas dari gadget, bener banget kan ya teman-teman. Pasti ada satu hari kita megang HP, megang laptop gitu. Nah tapi ternyata, apalagi nih khusus buat teman-teman yang gamers gitu, ternyata ada 70% itu ada fraud atau cybercrime itu dapatnya tuh dari mobile application atau game seperti itu. Nah, ternyata 53% itu juga cyber attack itu bisa berasal dari IoT yang ada di kehidupan kita sehari-hari. Tadi Bu Neha menjelaskan tentang mungkin kita pakai Google Home, atau mungkin kita pakai smart watch, smart TV, bahkan CCTV aja bisa dihack sama hacker, dan itu dia bisa melihat keadaan rumah kita kayak gimana. Bayangin kalau kita di rumah nih, misalnya kayak aku nih pakai jilbab, terus kayak di rumah nggak pakai jilbab tuh, kayak bayangin mungkin aurat kita kebuka gitu ya, atau misalkan ada anak kecil yang dititipin sama mbaknya, terus habis itu pakai CCTV, terus habis itu dia bisa melihat muka anak kita kayak gimana gitu-gitu. Jadi ternyata kita ini hidup di era internet yang masif, kita menggunakan internet di setiap lini kehidupan kita, tapi dari internet itu juga bisa ada kesempatan untuk para cybercrime masuk dan mengambil data-data privasi kita. Oke.
Thank you. So for this year, this doesn't change from last year to this year. There are a few things that, again, whether you choose cybersecurity as a profession or not, as individuals, we should think about what are the things that can be a risk to us, and then what are the things we should avoid. First and foremost, ransomware is a big risk. Now, like I explained earlier, ransomware is earlier, people used to kidnap people's children and ask ransom for it. That was one form of physical ransom. In the internet world, people steal your data and say, oh, I have your family's photos. I have taken them and I'm not going to give it to you unless you do X for me. And this is real, especially for women, because you may have certain photos that you may have clicked in fun, and somebody who has bad intent gets access to those photos and says, I am going to put these photos on the internet, or you do this for me. That's a form of ransomware. And us women are very susceptible to it. So that's one of the big issues that we should be thinking about, either as individuals, as women, or then as organizations as well. The second area that we should be thinking about is malware. Now, malware is nothing but bad code, which is inserted in your machines or in your devices. That bad code can be used to either steal information or to spy on you. And especially in Indonesia, we have seen a lot of cases of spying, because Indonesia is the chair, let's say, for ASEAN, right? Or then you have so many good oil and gas companies which have such good intellectual property, right? Or then, there is so much foreign direct investment that is coming into Indonesia. So there are countries who may want to spy on you, right? There are people who may want to spy on an organization as well. So malware is bad code that is inserted, that can be used for this activity. Phishing is email sent to you, or a website that is advertised to you, or an advertisement that is given to you on social media that you may click. And by virtue of clicking that, bad code may get stored, or bad cookie may come to your machine as well. And that again stores bad or installs bad code on your laptop. There is also the fact that there are security breaches which are happening. They are more organization centric, where organizations may lose data, and that's quite prevalent as well. And like I said, there is about 168% increase that has happened in our region. There is also the issue of stalkerware. And then again, this is more centric to us women, right? We may not appreciate someone paying undue attention to us, but this person or this set of individuals may want to stalk us, and that's very common, in all communities, right? A lot of women face stalking as well. So you can actually stalk someone just on the internet as well now, right? You could install, even things like air tags, which are Apple air tags, have been used in the US to stalk women, right? So stalking is something that's also happening as well. And then social engineering. Somebody may become your friend on Facebook or Instagram, and they may come back and say, oh, I like you, and why don't you meet with me, or why don't you share me with your data, or I'm in trouble, why don't you help me? That's very common, in fact, and that's a very successful means to do data breach as well. So those are common things that we all should be thinking about. Now, from somebody who uses laptops or an organization, the other thing which is very common that we see is cryptojacking. What that means is that once bad code is installed on your machine, the resources of your machine may be used for crypto mining of cryptocurrency, right? So the person is not stealing from you, but what they are stealing is the compute power of your laptop to do crypto mining. Okay, so that's something that, and we've seen that in Indonesia as well. So that's happening as well. And then, of course, there are mobile-focused cyber frauds. Again, malware getting installed on your machine, on your phone, and then stealing your digital wallet, etc. Social engineering, I've already shared with you. Again, IoT-focused cyber attacks are also very common. Just be careful. Update your iWatches, and your Apple Watches should always be up to date. There is always a security patch for any kind of device. Please, keep it updated. And then, of course, be mindful of stalkerware. One of the things one of my friends very candidly tells me is make sure you at least restart your phone a couple of times in the week. So shut down your phone, turn it on so that any application which is running on it actually shuts down. That's one of the very quick and dirty ways to shut some of these applications that somebody may have installed. I will pause here, Buana.
Oke, teman-teman. Jadi tadi ya, Bu Neha kembali menjelaskan nih tentang apa aja sih cyber attack yang terjadi. Dan juga bagaimana kita untuk menghindari jadi korban di cyber attack gitu. Yang pertama itu, kalau misalkan teman-teman punya HP, terus HP-nya ini terasa agak lambat, nah mungkin kayak ngerasa kayak, aduh kok HP-nya sebenarnya belum penuh nih tapi kok lambat. Nah itu bisa tuh kita mulai curiga, apa ya, jangan-jangan kita kemarin pernah ngeklik sesuatu ads atau sesuatu phishing link yang mencurigakan, dan itu ternyata salah satu indikasi adanya malware yang masuk ke dalam HP kita, kayak gitu. Terus, jadi kita perlu banget untuk menginstall antivirus di laptop kita dan juga di HP kita. Kemudian tadi yang paling penting nih, dan sekarang mungkin banyak banget terjadi, itu namanya soceng ya teman-teman. Aku juga baru tahu, social engineering. Bagaimana ada mungkin teman udah lama ngajak ketemu, terus ternyata akunnya dihack, minta uang gitu ya, sering banget ya kayak gitu. Nah itu mungkin salah satu hal-hal yang perlu kita waspadai ketika kita melakukan pertemanan secara virtual gitu ya, yang mungkin kita susah itu untuk klarifikasinya. Nah, kemudian juga tadi untuk barang-barang yang internet base, kayak misalkan tadi HP, mungkin smartwatch atau TV, itu sering-sering aja untuk kita shutdown gitu. Dan juga untuk selalu update softwarenya, biar kita terus terjaga dari malware-malware yang mau memasuki perangkat-perangkat kita seperti itu. Dan ketika di HP teman-teman, itu kembali cek nih teman-teman, apakah aplikasi-aplikasi ini diizinkan untuk mengakses segala data teman-teman gitu. Apakah allow to all data atau hanya allow to beberapa gitu kan. Kadang kan ada allow to location, allow to gallery kayak gitu kan. Nah, ini dicek lagi nih teman-teman. Karena bisa jadi dari aplikasi-aplikasi ini juga masuk malware-malware yang nantinya bisa mencuri data-data kita atau bahkan privasi-privasi kita gitu teman-teman. Apalagi teman-teman yang perempuan tadi ya, mungkin kita menggunakan jilbab, kita punya di HP punya foto yang nggak pakai jilbab, dan itu nanti kan riskan mungkin nanti untuk disebarluaskan atau ya itu digunakan untuk kejahatan seperti itu. Okay, can continue.
Thank you. So before we get into the various jobs in cybersecurity, I did want to share some tips that all of you and all of us, and this is what I tell my son as well, he needs to take care of these things. And so I recommend that you take care of these things as well. First and foremost, please don't share your personal information with everyone. Do not, be mindful about who you are sharing your school name, your email address, your home address, your phone number, your parents' name, your pet's name, because I can tell half the people here would have their password as one of those, either the pet's name or your birth date or somebody else's birth date. So please avoid sharing personal information with others. The second thing that we all should do is to make sure there is antivirus and anti-phishing installed on your mobile phones, because your mobile phone can also be protected with antivirus and anti-malware, and of course your laptops and desktops, and make sure the virus scan continuously runs. And if you're using a Windows device, turn on Windows Defender. That is out of the box. It is installed within the Windows operating system. Just turn that on. I have just that turned on my son's laptop, and everything works okay. The third thing that we should all be mindful of is make sure the moment there's a software update for your operating system or your applications, please make sure you install those patches. Um, the reason I say that is um, whenever, so Microsoft has so many different services that run. There is Xbox, there is Outlook.com, there is Office 365. There are so many different applications we have on the internet. Even MSN.com, where some people go and read news as well. And all of these are Microsoft's eyes and ears. So any threat we see on any of the platform, we pick it up, and then we have a lot of security researchers that work 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have centers in every time zone, and we can actually see and sense a threat, and within as early as 15 minutes, release a patch to address that threat. Where you see a problem happening is when somebody doesn't do patching, right? So if there's a vulnerability, invariably there will be a patch that we would have released if we know about that vulnerability. And then, so keeping the software update is super important. The fourth thing that everybody should be on guard for is phishing. There is voice phishing also. You get a call, and that's a very good question. Somebody put a very nice question. Um, Even voice calls can be used, and all you need to do is actually pick up that phone and click that number that automated message is asking you to do, and that can install malware as well. So phishing is something that, whether it is on voice, whether it is on SMS, whether it is on on email, be on guard for phishing. Don't open email attachments from people you don't trust. Let's say you get a note from the bank saying, oh, you have a problem with your account will be blocked. Right now, click on this link and change your username password. Don't click on that link. Call the bank and say, did you send me this email? That would be the best thing to do from a phishing perspective. And of course, be careful where you click. When there are sites that ask you to install our cookies, please don't. Please make sure that you only install the right cookies, and also then go back and make sure you delete cookies all the time. Only essential cookies should be on your laptop. So those are a few things that you should be caring about. And of course, other than that, just be careful. When you're at home or in your hostel, in your room, make sure your laptop lid is shut down, so that nobody can actually hack into your camera and do a video, for example, of yourself. So make sure those are things that you're careful of. Shut down your laptop when you're at night, or when you're in your room if you're not using the laptop. Be careful on social engineering. Make sure you have virus protection. Make sure that your software is updated. And I'll pause here, Buaina.
Oke, nah kita mendapatkan beberapa tips nih teman-teman untuk menjaga perangkat kita agar aman dari virus maupun malware. Nah ini cyber security tips nih kata Bu Neha. Yang pertama, hindari untuk berbagi data pribadi di platform online, apalagi untuk data-data yang cukup spesifik dan sangat personal ya teman-teman, kayak nomor HP, terus abis itu alamat rumah gitu. Jadi make sure bahwa yang kita bagi itu adalah orang-orang yang memang kita percaya. Kemudian jangan lupa untuk menggunakan antivirus di seluruh gadget kamu, karena tadi antivirus ini akan menjaga kita, akan menjadi pertahanan pertama kalau misalkan ada virus ataupun malware yang akan menyerang. Dan kemudian kalau kita punya HP, punya gadget yang lain, laptop, jangan lupa untuk selalu di-update softwarenya. Karena pengupdatean software ini berarti biasanya akan meningkatkan juga penjagaan software kita dari cyber attack. Kemudian untuk menjaga diri kita dari phishing, jangan pernah buka email dari orang yang nggak kita kenal, apalagi kalau misalkan ada attachment-nya terus dia minta klik. Atau bahkan tadi Bu Neha cerita, ketika kita dapat telepon dari orang nggak dikenal, terus kayak suaranya tuh agak-agak suara robot atau suara mesin, terus kita minta diklik angka tertentu. Nah, itu biasanya itu juga menjadi salah satu cara masuknya malware ke gadget kita. Nah, itu teman-teman perlu hati-hati banget nih. Apalagi mungkin sekarang teman-teman yang muda udah lebih aware ya. Mungkin kita juga perlu mengedukasikan kepada orang tua kita untuk lebih paham tentang masalah seperti itu. Nah, jadi kalau misalkan ada link yang mencurigakan, jangan pernah klik, karena itu nanti akan membuat kita malah menginstall virus atau malware ke dalam gadget kita, seperti itu. Okay, can continue.
Thank you. So there are good questions on the chat, and we should address them. There is a question on how to overcome malware in SQL injector database. That is a good question. I would like to know more about the question itself. But having said that, on Microsoft.com, there is a lot of technical documentation to save the machines that you're trying to protect from various kinds of malware. So depends on which malware are you talking about, which vulnerability, and then there may be a resolution for that as well. There is also a question from Zara. Using an anti-malware and can still be infiltrated by viruses. It depends on the anti-malware or the antivirus that you're using. Not all antiviruses can actually keep up with all that's happening. In the beginning, I shared that an attacker is very motivated. So if they've written that malware or written that bad code targeting someone specifically, then they may be able to bypass the antivirus that you're using as well. So there needs to be a multi-layered security implementation. You may have an antivirus, but it may not be patched, it may not be updated. So like I said, continuously update, because new threats are being created as well. And there's also a question on there are many viruses, usually in the form of modified tools. Yes, there are targeted tools that target specific vulnerabilities in certain software so that they can get inside that particular software as well. And which is where we need more people in cybersecurity so that there can be more monitoring and more defending of our stack. Now, I do want to move into, okay, all of this is happening in the world, all of the things that we need to take care of, but what really are the various careers in cybersecurity? And one of the things people always ask me is, oh, so I need to be an engineer to be a cybersecurity expert. And the answer to that question is no. There are some roles, definitely you need to be an engineer and you need to know coding and you need to understand how computer systems work, where you need to have technical certification. But there are also roles which a lawyer can do. Right? There is
nanti kita lanjut ke. Sorry, yeah, you can continue.
Sorry. So there are other roles which entry level people can also do in terms of, let's say, an analyst role, or you could have in cybersecurity. There's security of the data, but there's also regulations that you need to comply to. So, for example, I have a degree in cyber law. And hence, I am able to decipher various privacy laws as well as compliance adherence that is required for security to adhere to. So banks have regulations, etc. as well. So there are multiple roles in cybersecurity. You could be a security administrator, where you are making sure that the policies are in place. You're able to make sure that all systems are, let's say, patched, they have the security updates on them. Or then you could be looking at incidents. So if there is a hacking attempt in your organization, how do you respond to that hacking attempt? Those are the roles that you could have. Or then you could be a penetration tester. This is a team that actually tries to hack into the system of its own company to find out holes before the hackers find those holes as well. And then, of course, there are other senior roles that as you go up the value chain, you could also grow to a security manager, a chief information security officer, who actually in a lot of places now reports into the very senior management in an organization. So this is a small depiction of the different types of roles that exist in cybersecurity, from technical roles to auditor roles, policy roles, as well as manager roles. I'll pause here.
Oke, teman-teman semua. Jadi ini mungkin semacam jenjang karir ya di bidang cybersecurity itu sendiri, dari mulai teknikal, kemudian policy itu yang tentang kebijakannya, kemudian nanti naik jadi manajer, dan nanti mungkin menjadi chief. Jadi ini ada beberapa level yang bisa teman-teman lihat nih, kira-kira teman-teman tertariknya di bidang mana, dan mungkin ke depannya teman-teman berencana untuk menjadi apa ya di masa depan, seperti itu. Okay, next.
Good thing. Thank you. I will connect. All right. So here is just what I wanted to give you is a little bit of a flavor in terms of, let's say, the role of a security analyst. What does a security analyst do? This is a mid-entry level role. You would probably get into an organization and initially, if you're on the technical side, you will work as a security analyst. Now, a security analyst actually stops or responds to cyber attacks against their organization's computer systems. This is their job, to be the military person per se in the organization who is stopping and responding to cyber attacks in that organization. And their common job tasks actually include monitoring of breaches. So they would go back and look at all the logs that are getting generated, all the reports that are getting generated from various security softwares, and then they would analyze it, and they would do investigation of cyber attacks, just like a detective, like Sherlock Holmes. And they will be writing reports. So that's the job of a security analyst. And for example, they will come in the morning, they would monitor the computer network to say, does this network show any kind of breach related information? And by the way, this is not something that happens once in a while. We actually, pick up quite a bit of signal, millions of signals of breaches, not just in Microsoft, but in a lot of other companies as well, even in Indonesia. So if your company is a big company like oil and gas, or for example, you run telecom company, so then there will be a lot of attacks towards your company. And that's where you would go and monitor the network of the company for breaches. You would then investigate. So assuming you see one indicator that says maybe there is a breach, then you have to do correlation, do detective work, and investigate and report on any attempts of breaching. And then, of course, you install and maintain all the security software to make sure you're secure. There is firewall, there is proper anti-malware, there is other reporting tools that are there, your identities are protected, etc. In companies that don't have specific penetration teams, then the security analysts themselves also conduct penetration testing. This is like, you become the hacker and try and hack into your system to find out vulnerability so that then you can fix it. And every large organization we do as well, we actually have a full team of Microsoft employees whose job day in, day out is just to hack Microsoft. And try and bring out all the vulnerabilities that our network may have. And the more they win, the better our security is, because they're the ones who find the holes that we can plug. So penetration testing is something that the security analyst also does. Then, of course, there is so much happening every single day that researching security trends and making recommendations to the organization is also a part of the security analyst's job. And then you create best practices for your organization and do disaster recovery planning. Whether it is a tsunami or an earthquake or a cyber attack, you need to do disaster recovery planning for everything, because a disaster will strike. And then that is the time you need to be ready. So that's just a brief day in life of a security analyst, Buena.
Well, it's very fantastic because it is also new for me. My background is nursing and it's very interesting ya teman-teman semua. Jadi di sini Bu Neha bercerita tentang gimana sih sehari-harinya menjadi seorang security analyst yang ternyata tugasnya itu untuk menghentikan atau merespon cyber attack yang terjadi di dalam sistem komputer atau jaringan di institusi tertentu gitu ya. Dan security analyst ini juga tidak bekerja sendiri teman-teman, tapi juga ternyata bekerja dengan tim IT lain, termasuk juga bekerjanya itu memonitor jika ada security breach, terus mungkin menginvestigasi kalau misalnya ada cyber attack, dan juga menuliskan report apa yang terjadi nih gitu kan nih. Dari nomor 1 sampai 6 tadi udah kebayang ya bahwa beliau ini harus melihat nih, memonitor ada breach gak nih, apakah masih aman-aman aja. Terus abis itu kalau misalkan ternyata ada security breach, dia harus menginvestigasi dan juga menuliskan reportnya, melaporkannya seperti itu ya. Habis itu dia harus menginstall dan juga menjaga software-softwarenya untuk menjaga dari malware-malware atau virus yang akan menyerang gadget kita. Dan kalau misalkan di tim kita ini untuk menguji ketahanan, keamanan security kita kita bisa melakukan namanya penetration testing gitu untuk menguji apakah masih ada celah nih untuk diserang sama cyber attacker gitu kan. Nah, nanti dia baru bikin recommendation kalau misalkan ternyata ditemukan adanya flaws dan juga membuat disaster recovery plan. Kalau misalkan kita diserang nih gitu, kayak kemarin yang tadi balik lagi ya ke contoh kasus misalkan BSI diserang sama ransomware. Nah, itu sebaiknya sebuah institusi itu sudah memiliki disaster recovery plan tersendiri gitu. Gimana kalau di-attack, apa yang harus dilakukan, bagaimana pengamanannya, bagaimana recovery-nya. Seperti itu. Oke, can continue.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now, we have such a big problem in the world, and we have cyber attacks which are increasing. And irrespective of whatever is happening in the world today, there are about 2.7 million jobs in cybersecurity which are empty, vacant, waiting for all of us to join. And in fact, 1.4 million of those jobs, half of all cybersecurity jobs that are currently vacant, these are open jobs, job openings that you see on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor, all of those are in Asia Pacific. And which essentially means that we as individuals, we as society, we need to be thinking about the issues as well as the opportunity in cybersecurity, and then train ourselves so that we can go and take such jobs, especially as women, because only 25% of cybersecurity jobs in the world are held by women. And this percentage is even lesser in our region, right? So we need more women to join cybersecurity. Bua and I will stop here for a minute.
Ya, jadi teman-teman semua, kalau udah ada nih yang memiliki ketertarikan untuk bekerja di bidang cybersecurity, ternyata ada 2,7 juta kebutuhan cybersecurity expert saat ini di dunia. Dan untuk di Asia Pasifik sendiri, ternyata dibutuhkan sekitar 1,42 juta yang dibutuhkan, dan ada lowongannya saat ini karena tadi ya kita udah berada di area atau di era yang Internet of Things yang membutuhkan internet dalam kehidupan kita, sehingga kebutuhan untuk menjaga keamanan cyber ini sangat dibutuhkan sekali. Apalagi untuk teman-teman yang perempuan, ini adalah field atau area kerja yang amat sangat opportunistik banget, yang bagus banget, karena ternyata hanya 25% di dunia ini perempuan yang bekerja di bidang cybersecurity. Dan Bu Neha benar-benar mengajak khususnya teman-teman perempuan yang memiliki ketertarikan di bidang cybersecurity, yuk kita bareng-bareng untuk mendalami bidang ini, karena bisa jadi kita bisa memberikan warna yang baru, mungkin juga pandangan dari kita seorang perempuan mengenai cybersecurity itu sendiri. Oke.
Thank you. Now, I also wanted to share with this audience why it is important for women to think about cybersecurity. First and foremost, the attackers don't say, I'm going to be a man or I'm going to be a woman. I have met some of the best cybersecurity hackers, and some of the best ones are actually women. So we need to be also mindful that whether it is a man or a woman, we need everyone to participate in cybersecurity. But the reason why women need to participate more is because women face higher number of cyber crime incidents on the internet. We are attacked more, we are harassed more, that we are at a higher risk of financial data loss, of violation of privacy, the stalkerware, the camera being turned on and our privacy being invaded, or even security breaches. It attacks women more, and which is why we as women are needed to protect more women. It's because we are half the population of the world, so we need more women to protect women. The other reason that we also need to be mindful of is when we build cybersecurity solutions, and 75% of the people involved in cybersecurity, if they're men and they're led by men, they only have a man's point of view. They don't have a woman's point of view. And which is why diversity, and in this case, not just women, people with different ethnicity, an Indian will think maybe a little bit differently from a Filipino or from a European person or from an Indonesian person or from a Singaporean person. So everybody is needed. Everybody's intelligence is needed because all of us think a little bit differently. And which is why for flexibility to come in, for us to be able to protect the cyber world better, we need everyone to participate. Of course, there is, like I said, a massive talent shortage. And talent shortage in cybersecurity is more acute because, like I said, there is about 1.4 million jobs just in Asia Pacific that are available. And if we are half the population of the world, we should be the ones populating half of those jobs. And then, of course, it is cool to be in cybersecurity. Every day is a new day. It is actually like fighting a war. But just you sit in air conditioning and just use your laptop to fight that war. So cybersecurity is cool. There is so much innovation that is happening in cybersecurity. There is now AI that is coming into cybersecurity. We are innovating with generative AI in cybersecurity as well. So this is a cool place to be for all of us, and that's why women need to be a part of it. Buana, over to you.
Oke, jadi teman-teman yuk banget jadi cyber security expert karena tadi ya teman-teman ternyata kebutuhannya ini besar banget. Dan saat ini cyber security itu tadi ya masih didominasi oleh laki-laki. Dan kita ini membutuhkan lebih banyak background yang beragam, mungkin dari perempuan, dari latar belakang budaya yang berbeda, suku yang berbeda, sehingga kita juga bisa jadi lebih kaya ketika kita mungkin mau membuat sebuah pengamanan bagi sistem operasi kita gitu. Jadi kayak, oh kalau orang Indonesia kayak gini, budayanya kayak gini, oh kalau orang Filipina budayanya kayak gini gitu. Jadi lebih banyak orang dengan berbagai macam latar belakang itu akan lebih memperkaya untuk perlindungan dari di bidang cyber kita seperti itu. Nah, dan juga Bu Neha juga bilang bahwa cybercrime ini lebih banyak menyerang perempuan. Karena tadi ya, mungkin ada pelecehan seksual, terus juga mungkin secara awareness kita juga mungkin lebih kurang mengenai data privacy dan kawan-kawan. Jadi memang ternyata pada sebuah survei itu memang cyber attack itu lebih banyak pada perempuan. Dan tadi ya, ternyata kebutuhannya itu sangat besar. Sekarang ada ladangnya untuk kita belajar. Jadi yuk bareng-bareng, karena cybersecurity ini adalah masa depan, teman-teman. Ini baru era yang mungkin baru di gadget gitu ya, teman-teman. Nanti di masa depan akan lebih banyak lagi yang menggunakan Internet of Things, yang pasti lebih banyak membutuhkan talenta-talenta di bidang cybersecurity untuk menjaga keamanan manusia dari serangan-serangan cyber. Seperti itu. Oke, next.
All right, with that, thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. It would be better if you, put it in the chat, and then we can talk about it. Also, if you want to contact me directly one-on-one on LinkedIn, I'm always happy to help. Please feel free to reach out to me. And with that, Buena, we can go into the Q&A.
Oke, baik. Teman-teman semua, sekarang ini adalah waktunya Q&A atau question and answer. Kalau teman-teman nih masih ada yang pengen bertanya, yang masih penasaran nih, apa sih tentang cybersecurity? Oh, boleh. Mbak Tessa Agita, mungkin boleh untuk bisa dinyalakan mic-nya, Mas Hamdan. Mau langsung tanya sama Bu Neha ya? Boleh ya? Wah, udah ada juga nih yang angkat tangan. Mas Fatahur Razak. Oke, boleh mungkin Mbak Tessa dulu. Udah bisa nyala, Mas Hamdan? Oke, boleh silahkan Mbak Tessa. Boleh Nah, silahkan.
Halo, selamat malam, Kak.
Selamat malam. Mau langsung nanya kah ke Bu Neha?
Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia nggak, Kak?
Oh, boleh. So, this participant will be asked in Indonesia. Oke, boleh. Nanti aku bantu translate ya. Silakan.
Ya, makasih banyak, Kak. Selamat malam, Kak dan Bu Neha. Perkenalkan, nama saya Tessa Gita. Saya dari Bangka Belitung, Kak. Izin bertanya, apakah ada stereotip atau prasangka tertentu, Kak, dalam komunitas keamanan cyber yang mungkin mempengaruhi kesempatan dan kesuksesan wanita di bidang karir dari keamanan cyber ini? Lalu bagaimana cara menangani masalah itu secara efektif? Terima kasih, Kak.
Oke, terima kasih banyak, bagus banget pertanyaannya. Ini aku langsung tanya sama Bu Neha ya, biar bisa langsung dijawab. So, her name is Tessa. She's come from Bangka Belitung. She is very curious about, is there any stereotype in women in working in cybersecurity? If there is a stereotype, how to overcome that?
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Bu Tessa. And I also see a question which is similar. I actually use translation of Teams, so maybe it is not the right translation, but it talks about what's the biggest challenge for Miss Neha as a woman with a career in cybersecurity. That's a question as well.
Yes.
So, not a stereotype, but one of the challenges. And I started working, actually, when I started working in Microsoft, I started working in 2003, and then moving jobs in 2004, etc. But one of the things was there were not a lot of girlfriends, as in girls who were friends in the office, because it was all men. So I've not had a lot of women friends at work. But other than that, I think once you initially, I will not lie. Initially, I was a novelty, right? Being a woman, being in tech, that was a novelty 20 years ago. Not so much now. Now I have girls in the office who are friends who are doing cybersecurity, which is awesome. And if you're working in a good organization, I think beyond a point, if you're good with what you do, people stop thinking of you as a man or a woman or a mom or young or old. It is the energy you bring to your job that becomes, and the knowledge you bring to your job that becomes, critical, right? So I've been fortunate that I've always been surrounded by colleagues, men colleagues, as well as women colleagues. Um, Beyond a point, being a woman or a man is not important. Being great at what you do is important. And 20 years ago, yes, I did not have any girls on the floor where I used to work. And that was, who do you go and chat with, or who do you go do your makeup with in the bathroom? Uh, um, that used to be a challenge, not anymore. Right now, I think if you really have passion for technology, if you have passion for law, if you have passion for being a detective, and you have a little bit of passion for technology, I think women are absolutely welcome. Again, like I said, some of the best people that I've known and work with, some of the most intelligent, cyber hackers that I know who are ethical hackers, they are women. And by the way, women can multitask, right? So that's a superpower which women have, which men do not have. My husband doesn't have the ability to multitask. I do. So that's why women are required in cybersecurity. And we bring more energy and smiles. So that's why we are welcome. I hope that answers your question.
Oke, Mbak Tessa perlu ditranslate nggak? Tapi kayaknya udah ngerti deh, udah ngangguk-ngangguk. Udah paham ya Mbak? Perlu ditranslate nggak?
Sedikit paham Kak, mungkin boleh ditranslate lagi Kak.
Oh boleh ya. Oke, jadi kalau Bu Neha cerita kan beliau ini udah di Microsoft atau di cybersecurity ini hampir 20 tahun yang lalu ya. Dan waktu 20 tahun yang lalu memang menjadi suatu hal yang sangat baru, yang aneh gitu. Kok ada Bu Neha sih di Microsoft ini gitu. Tapi semakin berkembangnya zaman sekarang, apalagi dengan pendidikan yang semakin merata, terus juga kesempatan juga semakin merata gitu ya, itu udah nggak jadi problem lagi saat ini. Jadi orang-orang ini udah jarang banget untuk nge-stereotype kayak, lo kan cewek kok jadi ini gitu. Itu tuh udah jarang banget. Karena mereka ini lebih melihat bagaimana kompetensi kamu, bagaimana profesionalitas kamu sebagai seorang pekerja gitu. Jadi itu yang saat ini lebih penting. Makanya ketika kita mengadakan pelatihan-pelatihan seperti ini, kita pengen banget memberikan akses yang lebih besar, yang lebih terbuka kepada perempuan, sehingga stereotype ini akan kalah dengan profesionalitas, dengan skill, dan dengan passion teman-teman. Kayak gitu. Dan Bu Neha bilang, salah satu kelebihan perempuan bekerja di cybersecurity adalah kita bisa multitasking, yang sebenarnya ternyata kemampuan itu tuh dibutuhkan ketika kita bekerja di cybersecurity, dan laki-laki nggak punya kemampuan itu gitu. Jadi yuk teman-teman yang masih ragu untuk berkarir di bidang cybersecurity, nggak usah takut, walaupun mungkin saat ini masih didominasi oleh laki-laki, tapi kedepannya kalau teman-teman punya profesionalitas, punya skill, itu stereotip itu akan hilang dengan sendirinya, kayak gitu. Semoga menjawab ya, Tessa.
Wah, keren sekali ya, Kak.
Iya. Sama-sama. Oke, baik. Terima kasih banyak nih. Wah, masih banyak banget yang raise hand. Boleh Mas Fatah ya tadi ya? Boleh di-unmute? Silahkan.
Bismillah, terdengar?
Iya, terdengar dengan jelas.
Ya. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you again to Ms. Neha for explaining cybersecurity and attack from anywhere. My question is, how can we our people not only avoid or be aware of this attack, but also be able to fight cyber attack? Jika Begini, dan sedikit tambahan, jika saya juga bisa bergabung di komunitas atau kami bisa bergabung di komunitas serangan cyber agar dapat meningkatkan potensi kita untuk melawan kejahatan-kejahatan cyber. Terima kasih.
Okay. Maybe you can answer, Neha. He just add like, how can I join a community who has an interesting in cybersecurity? Yeah.
That's a very, very good question. Do drop me a note on LinkedIn. I will connect you to our technical community in the region. There are some MVPs of Microsoft, like the technical community leaders who can embrace you and bring you into the community. And this community talks about cyber quite a bit. There are also communities on Microsoft.com that you can join to learn more as well. But yes, first and foremost, thank you for joining a Women in Cybersecurity webinar. I truly appreciate you joining us, Mohammed.
Oke, jadi kalau misalkan Fatah mau tahu nih tentang apakah ada komunitas tentang cybersecurity, itu boleh nanya langsung sama Bu Neha. Apa kan Fatah punya LinkedIn?
Iya.
Iya ada ya. Nah boleh tuh dicari di search Neha Mongga kayak ini ya, udah ada namanya. Terus nanti ditanya aja gitu, karena Microsoft sendiri memiliki ada namanya komunitas peminat cybersecurity kayak gitu. Dan mungkin tadi sorry Neha, I think we missed one of his question is how can we just not avoid cyber attack, but how can we fight cybersecurity as mainstream people, not like a cybersecurity expert?
I think as mainstream people, awareness is very important. The more friends we know, we should make them aware as well, and read more and share more. So for example, I would go to my mother and tell her why there are certain things that she should not do or take care of as well. Again, being a part of the community in the university, doing, during lunchtime, gather students, talk about it. As individuals also, we can be safe ourselves and we can protect our community.
Oke, jadi Bu Neha juga bilang, kalau tadi kan pertanyaannya kayak bagaimana sih nggak cuma menghindari tapi juga bisa jadi part of cybersecurity gitu ya. Nah ternyata kita juga tadi kalau Bu Neha, dia akan ngasih tahu nih orang-orang terdekatnya untuk lebih paham tentang itu. Kayak misalkan orang tua kita, ibu kita yang mungkin nggak sepaham kita gitu, untuk jadi lebih dikasih tahu gitu. Jadi kita tidak hanya protect atau melindungi diri kita sendiri, tapi kita juga bisa melindungi orang-orang terdekat kita. Seperti itu, Mas Fatah. Semoga menjawab ya.
Also, just I am posting a link to our security community that you could just click and join the community as well. So no need to worry about sending me a note. I've posted the link.
Keren. Jadi Mas Fatah itu boleh cek di chat. Bu Neha udah post tentang security community yang dibikin oleh Microsoft. Kalau misalkan berminat untuk join, teman-teman semua juga bisa lihat di chat. Ada security community yang diinisiasi oleh Microsoft Community Hub. Okay. So, Neha, so the time is actually over, but we still have so many participants who want to ask you directly. So how's it? Like,
it's okay. We can go ahead, no problem.
Oh really? Okay, wow. Thank you so much. Okay, boleh teman-teman yang masih mau bertanya, berarti boleh Mas Rajesh Ferry mungkin boleh untuk ini ya, dibuka mic-nya. Makasih banyak ya Mas Fatah untuk pertanyaannya. Silahkan untuk bergabung nih kalau tertarik ya. Oke, Mas Rajesh, boleh? Bertanya langsung.
I am
so sorry, Ibu Rajesh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, it's fine. Okay, good evening everyone. So good evening, ma'am. I have two questions actually, but if it is allowed, maybe. Yeah, the first one you mentioned about AI. So currently, the improvement of AI is
Yeah, I think we lost Miss Rajesh. Okay, maybe we can talk to her later, or yeah, maybe another one. Azri Muhammad, maybe Hamdan could help us untuk membuka mic-nya, Mas Azri. Nanti kita akan kontak Miss Rajesh lagi. Mas Azri bisa membuka mic-nya? Oke, bisa ya. Oke, boleh langsung bertanya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Selamat
warahmatullahi
malam, Neha. Selamat malam, Kak Aina. Izin bertanya, apakah
Enggak.
dengan teknologi yang maju sekarang ini, jadi cyber security itu bisa dikolaborasikan dengan artificial intelligence atau kecerdasan buatan, di mana nanti kita dengan sistem tersebut kita dapat mendeteksi ada serangan masuk, lalu kita juga akan mengirimkan serangan balik gitu, kayak menggunakan deep learning atau apa gitu dah. Dan apakah nantinya cyber security itu bakal lebih rumit atau lebih gampang jika dikolaborasikan dengan beberapa metode-metode teknologi seperti kecerdasan buatan itu sendiri? Karena itu menurut saya itu bakal lebih bagus sih. Jadi misalkan si device kita itu bisa mendeteksi secara langsung ada serangan, lalu akan mengirimkan serangan balik juga, dan kita bisa mendapatkan informasi-informasi dari si penyerang tersebut. Terima kasih Kak Ain.
Oke, baik. Oke, so this question is very technical actually. I'm trying to imagine. So the question is it possible to combine the cybersecurity and AI so we don't have to maybe install something so the phone could like detect it and maybe make an attack directly to the malware or stuff? Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Pak Azri, and thank you again for joining Women in Cybersecurity as a session. Everyone is welcome. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. The short answer, yes. AI needs to be a part of everything today, and especially on cybersecurity. The reason that is needed is because all the security tools actually generate a lot of noise. In order for us to find out actually what is happening, humans need the help of AI. And which is why, and again, a human may need a food break. The human needs to sleep, but security needs to happen 24 hours in a day. Which is why when we build our technology, and I will share a link again with you, especially on cybersecurity, there is a lot of AI that's getting built into the cybersecurity tools exactly to do what you said, which is to be able to respond automatically, or then find out information from all different sources and bring it together and show it to the security analyst for the security analyst to make a decision. So short answer, yes, AI is being built into cybersecurity. There is, how do I say it? ChatGPT, if you know, there is a ChatGPT type security tool that we are also building as Microsoft. There is other companies also building those tools because we need AI to help us do cybersecurity better, because the attackers are also using AI to attack better. Does that, Buana, would you be able to?
Azri, kamu paham nggak? Mau butuh ditranslate?
Sedikit paham, Kak, yang jadi intinya tuh kita kan manusia butuh istirahat, butuh tidur, tapi dengan adanya AI jadi bisa beroperasi 24 jam nonstop gitu.
Betul. Jadi memang bisa banget untuk dikombinasikan itu semua, karena orang-orang yang menyerang kita juga itu sebenarnya mereka pakai AI juga. Jadi kita juga harus menyiapkan dirinya juga menggunakan AI, betul banget. Kurang lebih kayak gitu, karena I think it's too technical untuk orang yang non IT background like me. Gitu. Oke, jadi it is very possible then in the future. Kata satu lagi, Miss Neha, he said that in the future will be cybersecurity is more complex or maybe more simpler. Which one is more?
Security is complex already. It is getting more complex because hackers are also using AI. In 1 second, there are 1,200 password attacks today. Human cannot do that. Attackers are using artificial intelligence to attack you better, which means in order to defend better, we need artificial intelligence. And it is a war, right? It is cyber war, which means everybody is trying to get more complex, and we are trying to fight complexity with use of AI to stay a step ahead. So whether it will get more complicated, everything is getting more complicated. But we will leverage AI to make it simpler for humans to direct artificial intelligence assistance to do and take care of the complexity.
I see. Oke, jadi gitu ya, Azri, bahwa ini akan semakin kompleks, tapi dengan adanya bantuan AI, hopefully ini akan membuat sesuatu yang menjadi lebih simple, karena kita as a human, sebagai manusia, kita nggak perlu mikir sendiri, tapi juga dibantuin sama AI. Karena tadi ya, mereka juga nge-attack kita pakai AI, kita nggak boleh kalah, kita juga harus menggandeng AI untuk menjaga sistem kita biar tidak diserang oleh para cyber attacker itu. Gitu mungkin. Semoga menjawab ya. Oke, terima kasih Mas Azri. Tadi Mbak Rajesh ya. Ya, you're welcome. Boleh nggak apa-apa kalau nggak bisa buka kamera, mungkin boleh open mic-nya aja. Boleh dibantu Mas Hamdan untuk Miss Rajesh ya. Silahkan. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry because I don't know what is happening, because whenever I open the camera, so the page will be crashed. So I thank to the previous participant actually for bringing up about the AI, because recently I read about a journal. So the journal is about adversarial attack in machine learning. So in generating AI for cybersecurity, we will use machine learning algorithm, right? So did you ever face any kind of this issue, ma'am, in your organization, maybe? I'm curious about it, actually.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch the question. Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Okay. In order to generating AI in cybersecurity field, so they will use something machine learning algorithm, right? So in machine learning algorithm also there is adversarial attack in machine learning. So
yes,
it will poisoning the model.
Yes.
So yeah, it is kind of like that. So
yes,
did you ever face this issue in your organization, especially in Microsoft?
So let me take a step back, because the poisoning that you're talking about is poisoning of generative AI, which is Poison GPT, right? Poison GPT is what you're talking about, where the large language models, the open source large language models get malicious code within that. And then when you use that large language model, the further work on that generative AI is poisoned. Now, that, yes, is a possibility if you're using those open large language models. From a Microsoft point of view, and I will talk specifically generative AI, from a Microsoft point of view, we are in close partnership with OpenAI, right, who have their own proprietary large language model. And for our use, and I've put the link for Security Copilot, which is our AI generative model and basically generative AI based model that we will use as security people. Now, that is currently in development. We've taken OpenAI's large language model and we've built a security specific, our own model on top of it. Okay. And which is proprietary for Microsoft. And then we are training that model with playbooks, with prompt books. And we announced this generative AI, the Security Copilot, in March. Right now, it is in private preview, which means we are testing it out with a certain number of customers. And then once the testing is done, once governance model is set up, because there is a certain level of governance and testing that needs to come within the large language model to make sure that that poisoning doesn't happen. We know that happens in the open space, and we don't want it to happen to our system, and which is why we are currently testing it. But having said that, if you leave generative AI separate, because poisoning and supply chain is a generative AI large language model problem, from an AI perspective and just machine learning perspective, our stack is actually built on the Azure OpenAI and the Azure AI hyperscale network. So since it is built on our own technology, and remember I said we have so many penetration testers who are continuously looking for security flaws. So we try and make sure that that doesn't happen, at least with Microsoft.
Okay, got it. The last question, may I? I'm curious about, actually, you have a anthropology background, right? So how you can get into a cybersecurity field? Did you have any certification? And the special one, did you have any ethical hacking certification, ma'am? That is, I'm really curious about it, actually. Yeah.
Thank you for that question. And that is a very good question. Yes, I did a bachelor's in anthropology, and I still think one day I will do a PhD in anthropology. Once my son grows up, goes to college, I will go study again. But because of family considerations, I had to get a job immediately, right? And which essentially meant that once I finished my bachelor's, I had to do technical certifications because technical jobs were the only jobs available at that time, right? So my introduction into technology was more because I had to go out and earn money because my mom and my sister needed me to do that. So it was more out of, I need to go towards technology, although I love anthropology, because I had to get a job. But later on, yes, I did certifications. I've done security certifications. And then, yes, all my master's degrees have all been part-time. I've done all of them while working at Microsoft. And it is very important that you continuously learn, right? Yes, so it is true. So I keep doing industry certifications because you get, the moment you don't study, you are old, in the sense that mentally also, but also in your knowledge, true. Which is why I hope that answers your question. I love science. I am pure science person. That's become more my hobby than my actual work. But now I love cyber as well. But yeah, that's my journey.
So it means that learning ethical hacking required, maybe, in your perception.
If that's what you want to do. I am more
Okay.
interested in law.
Okay.
So because there are also regulations, there's privacy regulations, there's compliance regulations, there is how do you protect the data regulations and all of that. That interests me more. And then I'm very curious about insider risk, because there are internal employees who actually cause hacking to happen in an organization. It's the internal employees that that are the reason why sometimes people are able to hack. So I'm very curious about the organization's behavior and why a person becomes, prone to helping
Because
others.
of lack of awareness, actually, that is. Yeah.
No, or financial motivation, or
Oh, yeah.
they have been demoted, or there are multiple reasons why somebody will go sell secrets. Because a lot of the hacking is not
yeah.
because the hacker has great skills. It's because they either made friends with someone who then became their girlfriend, and now the girlfriend has to help the boyfriend. So that's why information leakage happens. It's generally human relations which cause hacking to happen in a lot of cases, in 80% of the cases. So, long answer to your short question, you don't
Okay.
need an ethical hacking certification unless
Yeah.
you are interested in ethical
In
hacking.
technical field. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering. And nice to know you. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, it's very intensive question. I'm trying to follow, but I got it lost actually. So, would you still want to accept a question, or
Sure.
how is it?
Let's go ahead and do that. No problem.
Okay, okay, wow, so exciting for this. Okay, maybe next question is from Fabiola Monica. Can you open your mic? I'm really happy to hear so many questions here. Like the curiosity is very big, and they are really eager to learn. Wow. Okay, Feby, can you open your mic? Apakah bisa membuka mic-nya untuk bertanya langsung kepada Bu Neha? Oh, masih belum bisa dibuka ya? Boleh Mas Hamdan minta tolong untuk dibuka mic-nya? Di atas ada simbol mic sebelah kanan, boleh dipencet mungkin untuk ini biar bisa ada suaranya. Ada nggak kalau pakai laptop? Udah bisa untuk buka mic-nya. Atau kalau misalkan masih kendala, nggak apa-apa, mungkin di chat aja. Oh, belum bisa. Oh, ya udah. Apakah mau di chat aja mungkin kalau misalkan masih ada kendala untuk membuka mic? Boleh. Iya, via teks boleh. Oke. Mungkin kita karena udah jam 8.50, ini sambil menunggu Mbak Feby untuk typing. Ini ada ini Najmi Khairi, ini laki-laki atau perempuan ya? Ini Mbak Najmi atau Mas Najmi nih kayaknya. Oh, ini pertanyaannya sudah masuk. Wow. Oh, ini pertanyaannya it's quite similar with the first question ya, tapi mungkin boleh maybe you could maybe explain more about this. Maybe there are several girls in here that is dumb to pursue their career in cybersecurity and maybe need more advice from you who is more experienced in that field. You can.
Sure thing. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to connect one-on-one later as well if you want, over LinkedIn, if you just want to have a one-on-one chat as well. And like I said earlier, beyond the initial, I think in today's world, in 2023, I would be very amazed if gender is a reason for bias in technology, right? Because within technology per se, there are a lot of women. I think bias probably is in our own minds, that say cybersecurity is very tough. We cannot, do it because it's complicated. But really, I think beyond the general, issues you would face as an employee in any of any gender in any organization, I've been fortunate in not having biases per se just because I'm a woman. So yeah, I mean, not in 2023, but yes, 2 decades ago, absolutely. 20 years ago, oh, you're a woman, probably you don't know much. That was definitely a stereotype, but not today. Today, we have a lot of women in technology. And then again, if you are a good product, if you know what your work is, then even if somebody approaches you with doubt, that doubt gets clarified and then just the work shines. So make yourself so great that people want you in their team, irrespective of whether you're a man or a woman, or an older person or a younger person. Because generally there are stereotypes on, oh, they're older, so they will be fixed mindset. No, that's not true. I hope that answers.
Oke, semoga menjawab ya. Tadi Bu Neha juga ada bilang bahwa despite your background, apapun background kamu, laki-laki, perempuan, tua, muda, kalau kamu punya expertise, kalau kamu bisa profesional, sekarang itu insya Allah sudah tidak ada stereotype ya. Asalkan kamu benar-benar bisa profesional dan juga bekerja dengan kinerja yang sama dengan teman-teman yang lain, seperti itu. Okay, wow, it's almost 9 in Jakarta.
And 10 in Singapore.
Yes, yeah, no, it's very late already. And I'm very excited to hear more questions actually, but we have very limited time. So maybe, is there any closing statement from you about this webinar and stuff? Yeah.
Sure thing. I think thank you for all the wonderful questions. And those of you who have questions, have not been able to ask them, please type those questions. I will make sure I answer your questions in the chat before I sleep. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I was able to inspire you just a little bit. But thank you for just spending this 2 hours with us. I truly appreciate it.
Oke, thank you so much. Jadi untuk teman-teman yang belum berkesempatan untuk bertanya kepada Bu Neha, silahkan buka LinkedIn-nya, tulis di kolom search Neha Mongga. Nah, persis banget namanya dengan yang ada di Microsoft Teams ini ya. Neha Mongga dengan spelling yang seperti itu. Nah, nanti Bu Neha akan mencoba menjawab pertanyaan teman-teman. Jadi teman-teman kalau masih punya pertanyaan, silahkan kirim message, kirim pesan kepada Bu Neha, dan Bu Neha akan mencoba menjawab pertanyaan teman-teman semua, karena Bu Neha senang banget nih melihat banyak banget anak muda yang tertarik untuk berkarir dan mendalami bidang cyber security. Okay, well, we also think so many thank you for being here and sharing with us. Me also have no background in cybersecurity and also technique, and I'm feeling so grateful and enlightening for me, because I think it is also the future of people about cybersecurity and stuff. And you also already emphasized that is the need is there, the opportunity is there already. So we have to catch that opportunity, and we have to take our part to securing our most loved people around us. Jadi buat teman-teman yang masih pengen berkarir, nih kita masih membuka pendaftaran untuk program Ready for Security ini khusus untuk teman-teman perempuan. Nah, tadi coba buka lagi di chat, ada kolom atau ada link yang bisa diklik sama teman-teman semua untuk mendaftar khusus bagi teman-teman perempuan ya. Karena yang untuk teman-teman laki-laki ini kemarin udah cukup banyak pendaftarnya dan udah kita tutup, tapi untuk teman-teman perempuan kita kasih privilege untuk mendaftar sampai tanggal 20 Juli nanti bisa ikut di program cyber security ini. Dan ini menjadi langkah awal yang bagus banget untuk teman-teman yang ingin berkarir di bidang cyber security. Oke, mungkin sekian untuk malam ini. Saya ucapkan terima kasih banyak. Sekali lagi saya sangat apresiasi buat 75 orang yang masih hadir sampai saat ini, yang udah bertanya dengan sangat antusias, sampai kita harus membatasi para penanyanya. Semoga kita bisa bertemu lagi di lain waktu. Dan untuk teman-teman semua, boleh membuka kameranya mungkin untuk kita foto bersama-sama. Nah, mungkin Oke, boleh teman-teman, you can open your camera to take picture together with Bu Neha. Oke. Oke, wah, seneng banget nih. Ternyata banyak banget yang mendengarkan masih sampai akhir. Wow, we still have 75 people in the room. Wow, great. Oke, mungkin Mas Hamdan, can you open your mic untuk bisa lead taking picture-nya?
Oke, we will count down 3, 2, 1 ya. Oke. 3, 2, 1, cheese.
Cheese.
Ya, one more. 3, 2, 1, cheese. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for those who already attend this webinar. I really appreciate your time, your eagerness to learn from Miss Neha Mungga. Semoga teman-teman di sini juga berminat untuk menghadiri pelatihan Ready for Security, karena ini adalah kesempatan yang sangat baik untuk teman-teman, karena bukan hanya pelatihan, tapi juga nanti di akhir teman-teman akan diberikan kesempatan untuk mengikuti sertifikasi SC200 dari modulnya Microsoft itu sendiri. Oke nih ya teman-teman, bisa dilihat di chat, teman-teman perempuan yang masih berminat bisa klik di https://shorturl.at/AOZ03. Nanti poster pendaftarannya akan kita share di grup. Dan kalau teman-teman masih nih kira-kira kepikiran ada teman perempuan yang berminat untuk ikut ini, jangan segan-segan untuk mengajak ya. Kita pengen lebih banyak perempuan, lebih banyak orang yang memiliki latar belakang yang berbeda untuk bekerja di bidang cyber security ini. Kami dari tim IDF pamit, mohon undur diri. Terima kasih banyak. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Terima kasih, sama-sama
Thank you
Ibu.
so much, Kak Aina, Bu Neha.
Only know you for now when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go. Staring at the bottom of your glass, hoping one day you'll make a dream last. But dreams come slow and they go so fast. You see her when you close your eyes. Maybe one day you'll understand why everything you touch surely dies. Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you for now when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. Staring at the ceiling in the dark, same old empty feeling in your heart. Cause love comes slow and it goes so fast. Well, you see it when you fall asleep, but never to touch and never to keep. Cause you loved her too much and you dive too deep. Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.